Oh my goodness, bro. I don't even. Yo, why is that on auto? 800 is good. My bro, wow, this thing had dust on. I didn't record a video in a long time. I don't know if I can do this still, right? But I just got a quick one today, man. It's more like it's not actually for anyone. It's for me to remember on my channel. But I just want to show you how to use an existing photo to create an oil painting without using AI. It's actually very easy. All right. There's a lot of us that we can't draw like myself, right? And I can't create a piece of art from scratch. So we need to use like tools, right? And a good tool is Photoshop. And what I want to do is create an oil painting, but I can't start it from scratch because I don't have that skill. So I need to use an existing photo to do that inside Photoshop. In this video, I'm going to show you how to do that if you want to do something that's similar, all right? This is an image of my friend Kelly because she actually wants me to do this oil painting for her. So I thought it's a good opportunity to make a video on this thing, right? And it's fairly easy. It's actually going to be super quick. She's going to use this for a video of her own, so you can follow her socials and stuff if you'd like. It's going to be on screen somewhere in the description as well. You will be able to find it. Like, you guys know YouTube works, right? And it's fairly simple. All we need to do is use an art history brush tool, and we're going to do it in layers over the photo, and we're just gradually going to get it to look like an oil painting, basically. So what you first want to do is you want to look at your image size. So go up to image, go to image size, and if you look at your pixels, you do want it to be the height must be over 2500, right? So this image is fine. Kelly, thank you for sending high quality photos. We do really appreciate that. Can do a lot of work with high quality photos, right? So we don't have to change anything in the image size. But if you do, right, what I would suggest you do is you click on that little link there and you move the height anywhere over 2500 and then work with that, right? And then go ahead and create, you know what I always like to do, right? I always like to create a copy of the layer, of the background layer. So just press Ctrl J and then you switch the background off there. So now we have that layer, right? And then we're gonna go to the art history brush tool. You'll see it on the left here. If you left click, right click. No, if you right click, you'll get this drop down menu. You select the art history brush tool, and then you might not have the art history brushes that I'm gonna use. If you want to use these art history brushes, I'm going to leave a link to this person's website where I got these brushes from. And I'm not going to show you how to import brushes into Photoshop. There's millions of videos of that on YouTube. But download his pack because he's really got some nice art history brushes, right? And then we're going to start with the first one. You just select that art history brush. I will say, right, if you have changed the image size, what you need to do is you need to go to this menu over here. It's called History. And you will see like image size has changed. Then you just need to tick the box there on the image. So it'll show image size, then you just put the art history brush on that box. But I didn't change my image size, so I don't have to do that. Okay, fantastic. And then what we're going to do is with your layer one selected, we're going to create a new layer, and we're just going to start painting over it like this with the art history brush. You can already see it starting to look like an oil painting. It's very rough, but this is basically what you're going to do, and it's so simple. And now you're probably thinking, oh, but you can't even see the subject anymore. Like, it's all messy and all artsy and stuff. Well, this is just the basement, you know. This is basically Bob Ross just painting like the base of his painting. Now, I'm not comparing myself to Bob Ross, please. Like, you know, I'm not doing that. I will never do that. I can't. No, me and Bob Ross, I can't compare myself to him. Anyway, no, that's beside the point. So we've created that first layer. Then create another layer, right? And then go up here to this brush settings, I think this is called. And then drop the size to like 200 maybe. I'm gonna drop that size a little bit. So about there somewhere. And then we're gonna paint a little bit more details in around the sides there, you know. We're gonna bring it together nice like that, and then start going over the subject, because obviously the subject is the subject of the image, and that's kind of what you want to see, man. You want to see the subject of the image, because well, what's the point, you know? So you can just, with a smaller brush, you can just go over it like that, nice, and bring that subject in there, nice. Maybe on the side, you want to bring some details in here. But what I'll say is, right, as we shrink the brushes, we get closer and closer to the subject, man, because it's the more the details that we're bringing in. And then we're just going to create another layer. We're going to make the brush again smaller. I'm going to make it very small. I'm going to make it like 100 now, like over there. And now we're going to go there by the subject. So, because we want to see. You know, see there, she's coming together now. You can kind of see, okay, there's a person there. Lekker cheese. Let's bring it in there like that. Nice, nice. Go here by the feet, so get in the detail. Did you see that? I tried to rhyme. Don't ever do that. That didn't work. Okay. Keep going, keep going. I'm actually going to speed this up because the process is very much similar and the same. But just remember, before I speed it up, I'm going to say again, as you shrink your brush, you focus in on the subject and you bring the subject out of the painting. Just keep on doing that. And then drop your brush again. Drop it now to 50, even smaller. Now you're really going to get the details, and then I will say focus around the face with this maybe. Now I will say, if you had chosen to use AI, you would have been done already. But as an artist, you really do enjoy this process, man. You know, not gonna lie, it's very nice, very fun. Fantastic. Now we've got the base of the oil painting. So we want to add a little bit other accents, man, to make it look more like an oil painting, because an oil painting is not extremely perfect. I will say I want some of these plants in the background here. It looks nice. So I'm gonna slightly raise this to 100. And then I'm just gonna go over some of these plants here. I mean, I like this. I like these plants here at the back. But this is all personal preference, obviously. This is how you will also approach your drawing, and you will bring things out that you think is important for your painting. And yeah, you can do that. Oh, here's something on the side here. Hey, why don't we have this? Okay, cool. Now you create another layer again. Okay, but then you're gonna make a different paintbrush, man. You'll take the splash one. Okay, take the splash one. I like the splash brush because it's like strokes and stuff, man. And you can really, like, if you know where the splash brush is, where it draws color from, you can really get the exact color you want in like a stroke. So I like to follow leading lines with a splash brush, but it's a bit too big, so you can like either the left squiggly bracket or the right squiggly bracket. That is how you change the size of your brush. So the left squiggly bracket makes it smaller and the right squiggly bracket makes it bigger. You can see it on the screen there, right? So let's see, here's a leading line here. I'll just drop one there. There's a nice stroke, and here by the hair, maybe I'll just drop a stroke like that. Is that a bit too intense? I think it was. What am I doing? Maybe the brush should be smaller. There, like that. See, there's a stroke there, nicely done. She's sitting here on this. I'll put the stroke there like that also. You see, just for the thing, for that thing that go like that. Another stroke there, but the leg, you can't really see it. I'll put one there also. You know, this is how you must feel it out, man. You know, this is how you interpreting your piece of art now. And you must just really feel how it goes. I'll put a random stroke there also, man. Just so like that. There's one there also. I'll put one up here. Maybe by the chinnington there by the face. No, that covers up the face. We don't want to do that. Maybe in front of the hair like that, you know. But you don't want to overdo it, you know, because then you're going to be able to see like, oh no, this was digitally altered. You know, like we can see what you do. Anyway, my bad, sorry. So, just a couple more strokes, you know, nothing too intense, nothing too intense there. This is looking okay. You don't want to overdo it. For variation, for variety, you can just go to the second one, to the splash 2 brush, just for a little bit variety. And then we're going to shrink it a little, and maybe we go here by this yellow. There, like that. See in the middle there, that's not too intense. You can work with that. We'll put one there or so. So you can't see it, so yeah, that's fine. We'll go in there. So there, now we got some variety, some strokes there. It's not too much, it's not too overwhelming. No, that's terrible. You never do that. Let's see, no. See, so you kind of, let me just explain this. Like, you can kind of see by the middle of the brush, right? If you look where the middle of the brush is, editing, let's just zoom in there. You see where the middle of the brush is. That's more or less where it's drawing the color from. So you can see the middle of the brush is above her head, right? So if I click there, it's taking from the color that's above her head. That doesn't look bad. I actually like that. But now, if you want a dark stroke, like that's to the color of her hair, you just kind of put the middle of the brush over her head so that it draws that color, and then you'll see it does that. I'm not going to keep that one. Hey, cannot be saved. I think this looks okay. You know, this is starting to look nice. Not too many strokes, you know, we get the idea. It is kind of looking like an oil painting. Okay, cool. Then one more that I do like to do is the dots. Just the dots, you know, like this dots. There's drop one. This one is nice also. Just for variety, you know, and it's also with the middle, kind of with the middle of the brush there. I'm gonna put some dots over there, you know, not too hectic. Put some dots down here, bring some dots around where Kelly's sitting also, just to, because the oil painting in its artistic interpretation is perfect, but it's not supposed to be perfect, you know, as a painting. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not supposed to be a perfect painting, because there's supposed to be imperfections there. Because it's an oil painting, you know. So you want to throw around some dots there. You're not going to see it here because it's very bright in this corner here, but maybe we can. That's fine. I'll bring some of this in here. Get the dots. So you see, you must kind of see where it's drawing color from, and it's drawing color from the left part of the. Actually, I don't know. That's nice there on the leg. You see the imperfections. So cool. Now you don't overdo it. Okay. So what we can do is literally on layer 1 at the bottom in your layers, double click on that and say and rename it to subject. And then from layer 2 to layer 6, right? Click layer 2 and then hold shift and click layer 6. Press Ctrl G to group that, and you're going to call that effect, right? Because that's your painting effect. Perfect. And then above that, we're going to start with something different, which I like a lot, actually. Actually, you know what? Don't create a new layer. I'm going to show you now what we're going to do. I just want to see something, right? If I do that and I put like, what's this thing called? This is a blend. No, that's a, what is that? A layer mask. Yeah, if I put a layer mask there, and maybe I want to bring out her face. So I'm going to get me a nice brush. You can press B, shortcut brush, and then you press X to swap the colors around. And let's see if we can bring Kelly's face out just for a little bit of detail. Let's see if we do that. Does it work? Does it work? To zoom in like this, you basically press hold control and space, and then just click and drag your mouse left or right, and it will zoom like this. But for some reason, why? Oh, it's because the opacity is 30. No, we don't. That we want 100% go. See, so you can kind of bring a face out like that if you want to, but mess with the opacity, right? You don't want 100%. You want something like 45% opacity, just like to bring some details out of a face, so that you can see kind of, you know, it is Kelly, you know, because like. Why not? If we can digitally do this, then why not, right? But mess with the opacity. Like you can see, you can't see a face, man. But we want to see a face, so drop the opacity slightly and just see if you can bring some of the details of a face out without losing the integrity of it being an oil painting. You know, just bring it out there like that. There's an eye. See, I mean, that's okay. You can still see a face there. That's a nice detail. This is an option. This is optional. You don't have to do this. I just like bringing the subject's face out so that when people do look at it, then they can see, oh, this is the person, you know. Anyway, we are not going to touch that anymore. I think that's enough detail in the face there. Now we're going to move on to the next thing, and this next thing you can really make it look like an oil painting now. So let's pay attention quickly. You're going to go up to File, okay? You're going to say Place Embedded, right? And then this is now KellyKikx, right? But I've got some stuff in my downloads here. These are textures. Now, textures is very important to make an oil painting look like an oil painting. Because if you look at an actual oil painting, right? But you need to leave your house and like go to a museum and look at an oil painting. And if you can get close, like look at the oil painting like this, man. You know, like really look at it, and you'll see this texture there. And we need to replicate that in our digital thing, because we can't now make real textures in our screen because it's a screen, but we need to replicate it, right? So at the link that I'm going to put in my description, there are these 3 textures that I will be using, okay? And you have to follow this procedure, right? You're going to place embedded, select it, and then say place. Perfect. Then you're going to rotate it and resize it, okay? To resize from the middle, to rotate, right, like that, you just bring your cursor to the side and move it, and then you can hold shift to get to move in 15-degree angles. I think it's 15 degrees. I was never good at maths. And then if you need to resize it to the image, right? So you go to a corner and you hold Alt and Shift, Option and Shift on the Mac, and then just resize it just a little bit over there. That's good. Perfect. There you got your texture. No, you're not going to leave it like that. What you're going to do is, with the texture layer selected that you just put in there, you're going to go to Filter, and you're going to go to Stylize, and you go to Emboss. And you're going to add these numbers to the emboss. Angle 145, height 2 pixels, amount 120. You can say, okay, perfect. And then what you're going to do is, while it's still selected, you're going to go into your, what is this, the blending mode, and I think you're going to say overlay. I think that's overlay. Yeah, and if you zoom in, oh, my piece is going to die. If you zoom in, you can really see the texture there, which is very nice. And now it's starting to look like an oil painting, really. And the thing is, like, you can, like these, when we're done here, we will be able to print these. And then when you do print it on a nice canvas, the texture is not going to be real, but the texture is going to be visible. And that's really going to sell it as an oil painting, you know. But one texture is never enough. We really want to bring it out. So we're going to do the same thing again. File, place embedded, select the next texture. I'm going to select that one. Place, okay, rotate, like we said. boom, beam, pop, like that, corner, Alt and Shift, resize, slightly over, fantastic, correct. Okay, cool. Now, what's nice is, remember you must go to Filter, Stylize, Emboss. We don't have to do that whole thing. We'll go Filter, and then Emboss is right on top. And there's even a shortcut to repeat your filter, which is Emboss. You can click the shortcut. There it is, Emboss. Emboss is what makes it like a texture. And then remember what we did? Dropped it to Overlay. Here we go. If it zooms, there you can see the textures really coming nicely. And then we can do one more. Place Embedded. I'm going to try that shortcut now. It was this one. Place, right, rotate. Like that. Resize, slightly over. Like that. Press correct. And then I'm going to say Control Shift F. And there's the emboss. Perfect. And now we're just going to put it on Overlay. And there's it. And that's it. Look how nice that looks. Now it looks like there was actually paint strokes done when this painting was done. You got nice detail in the face, you got your textures, and you know, at the end of the day, I hope she's gonna be happy with this, but that's basically how you do it. Just for neatness, okay? You got your top one selected, your top filter image, that filter, your top texture image, right? Just close them, you know, close them with their arrows, and then select the last one, Control G, and then double click to rename it and say textures. I hope I spelled that correctly, right? And now just for a little bit extra, right, I'm gonna try and do a color lookup. Let's see if any of the color lookups is gonna help it sell it more as an oil painting. Like color lookup is a lot, I think. Yeah, color lookup, what's it called? Color lookup. Where? What the hell? Color lookup, that's the thing. 3D LUT. Okay, let's see what you do. Strip. That looks like that. So you can just go down here and you can choose. Oh, I mean, that looks nice. And if it's too intense for you, with the color lookup selected, just drop the opacity over here next to the blending mode. I'll show you. If you drop it to 0, it goes away. You put it up to 100, it shows again. I like that actually. And then drop it maybe just like that. There we go. And that's it. That's how you do an oil painting. It's very simple. It's very easy. And you don't have to use AI. I mean, granted, AI will do the thing quickly, fine. But if you really want to be part of the process and really personalize it to the way you want it, then this is how you do it. Fantastic. And then obviously, you know, file, export as. I'm not going to export because my graphics card is kind of trash. But then you just do this export part, and I'm sure you're using Photoshop, you know how to do this. And that's it. That's how you do it. So I'm not going to export that. But thank you so much for watching the video. Yeah. And maybe I'll make another one of something else that I've done before in the past. Okay, thank you so much. I do stream on Twitch sometimes. If that's it. My socials and stuff is in the description. Follow me if you, bro. It's up to you. Okay, but if you're gonna do anything, please have a fantastic day, morning, evening, wherever you find yourself watching this video. And I don't know if I'll see you in the next one. But thanks for watching. Okay, goodbye.